Well, hello everybody. My name is Angela, middle initial K, last name Durden, and this is the Constrained View. So today I want to talk about opinions. As you can see from the title, opinions, everyone has them, just like you know what. That I'm not going to say because I'm a lady. Might say it off the air, as they say. Uh, but the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm really kind of ticked off at a lot of these people who are setting themselves up as the place to go to get the latest. And if they're on YouTube, then they are really trying to push out the content, trying to push it out, trying to push it out because they're making money from it. That's how they're making money. If they are on the radio and pushing it out as a podcast, then they also have a lot of hours to fill up. So uh, let me get a sip. Man, this pollen has been horrible. Don't look at my eyes because I got black eyes, and it's just allergic shiners. They're terrible, and it's if you're where there's hardly any pollen, then I'm so happy for you. Though I did see somebody on some show on television. They were doing a live street kind of thing where they were talking to people, and two guys were going, and one of them said, "This pollen, I've never seen it this bad." And they were in New York City. I didn't think y'all had pollen up there, but I guess you do. Okay, so there's a fella by the name of Bruce Fenton. I don't know who he is. I just happened to see his post on somewhere. Doesn't even really matter, I don't think. But he was talking about Douglas Murray, who's a British fella, uh, very knowledgeable, has a lot of information, but he can kind of come across as a stiff, insufferable. Well, let me just read you what Bruce wrote. He said, "I had never heard of Doug Murray before the Dave Smith episode of Joe Rogan. He was extremely insufferable and arrogant. Most notably, he didn't seem to make a single point in the debate about the topic. He used his gun school debate club style tactics to derail and score imaginary points on semantics and minutia without ever really addressing the points or topics. Massive embarrassment. He did make one point about experts, and Bruce says if Douglas, is an expert, then all the more reason to ignore people who are crowned experts by the media, academia, and think tanks. Really, often surprisingly stupid people with no depth." Now, I'm going to have to mostly agree with Bruce here. Bruce, if you ever see this, know that I'm agreeing with you. And I am a woman agreeing with a man somewhat. This might be a first in your life. It's a first in a lot of men's lives. But I want to talk about Douglas Murray. See, Douglas Murray, he's a real um, in control kind of guy. He doesn't let emotions show. He was on the Gutfeld show the other day, and he actually smiled. First time I ever seen him smile. Now, I could say that he's extremely insufferable and arrogant. Bruce, I could see how Bruce would take him as that. But I just think he's got the stiff upper lip that a lot of British people have. And that it comes across to we Americans as something else. Now, Bruce did mention his gun school debate club style tactic. Now, Bruce, pay attention because of all the things that Douglas is not a stupid person, and he knows a lot about history and that you and me we don't know. Plus, he's he knows what he's talking about for the most part, which is not to say that I always agree with him. So instead of talking about the style with which he delivers his information, maybe, Bruce, if you had said, here's what he said, and I disagree with it because you see, I can tell you what Douglas Murray does do. Douglas Murray does back up what he says. Now, true, let's read this again. He does not, Douglas Murray does not derail a conversation. He brings it around to what it's really about. He does not try to score imaginary points on semantics and minutia. That's called getting into the details of stuff. That's using language properly, semantics, minutia, the details of a topic. That Bruce, that you may not have that depth of knowledge, so you thought he was talking Greek, you know? Well, that's your problem. So what you should have done instead of this, and it was well written, Bruce, very well written. I mean, I enjoyed it. I've read it several times because it was good writing. Unfortunately, you didn't give me any reason as to why his use of semantics and minutia wasn't true or accurate. And that, dear Bruce, is what would have made your point so much easier to understand. Now you're asking me to read your mind. Do you know how bad I am at reading minds? I'm very bad at it. In fact, I stopped doing it a long time ago because I was getting it wrong all the time. But now, I will agree with you, Bruce, on the fact that people who call themselves experts, even when they're crowned that by the media, and a lot of times that's the only place they are an expert is on the media, when they are showing up there. I stopped listening to experts a long time ago, with that wide-eyed, ooh, they know, so I can believe them attitude. Long time ago. Because you want to know what I found out? I found out that these experts, they crumble when you ask one simple word. And that word is why. Why, experts? And you see, Bruce, you didn't ask why Douglas Murray was saying the things that he did. You didn't understand it. You couldn't figure it out. So you just you writ him off. You writ him off good. And that's not good. But I do agree with you that it's often surprisingly stupid people with no depth who the media crown as experts. It's awesome. That and the Democrat Party, and the rhinos, and the Marxists, and the social justice warriors. I swear, the amount of stupidity and idiocy in all of those is it's horrible. So, Bruce, there you go. Now, your post did make me think of another show. It's you get it on YouTube. Uh, I'm sure it's shown other places and then just repurposed on YouTube. But it's from is it Stanford? Uncommon Knowledge. That show is supposed to be a long form discussion between a host and a guest who, being an expert in something, is able to shed light on it. Here's what I'm finding. I've enjoyed these shows before. They have some really great stuff. But when they start asking the guest to connect history that they know very well to a solution to what's happening now, most can't do it. They really made bad show of it last week when I was watching something. I said, oh my God, they've missed it totally. This guy was so far behind the curve, it was not even, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. And I said, well, I don't know how much I'll be watching that anymore either. Just because I'm noticing that as a thing that's happening quite a bit. Now, talking about opinions, there was a story. You know how you go to your browser, whatever browser you have, Bing or these others, and they have these sections where you can click on different things and see different news. And there was one about these two black girls had won some sort of a debate. They won the Cross Examination Debate Association, the annual contest that they have. I never heard of CEDA, C-E-D-A, Cross Examination Debate Association. And I thought, these, I've not seen anything that bad in a debate style situation, just haven't. I was horrified. But they were being touted as the thing. It says now this is an article published in Essence. Now there's a reason that I'm going to be reading part of this to you because I've got some dates and then I've got a thought. Amina Ruffin, 21, and Corey Johnson, 19, went from passionately arguing current events on campus to become the first black women ever to win a national debate championship. Now, I have no way of checking that out because, number one, before this article, I never heard of CEDA, Cross-Examination Debate Association. So I wouldn't even know where to start looking for these kinds of things. So I'm going to take their word for it. This past March, the Towson University students triumphed against 169 other teams in the country's ultimate war of words, the Cross-Examination Debate Association Championship. Essence talked to the astute competitors exclusively about their historic win and the legacy they hope to leave behind. One said, I'm excited to win. I'm excited about our win. Black women have never won another championship. Many smart African American women debaters came before us, and to be representing all that hard work was special to me, added the other one. Their coach debated at Dartmouth and passed her survival strategies to us. Their coach was Amber Kelsey. Let's see. Personally, I joined because, well, it's their voice that these great debaters hope to leave as their legacy. Well, let me tell you something. Their voice, they showed just a piece of the debating presentation that each of them offered. And at first I thought they were preachers at an AME church. They had the cadence and the style of it, and it didn't sound like debating to me. It sounded like a sermon. But then I said, well, geez, when did this happen? I mean, is it that bad now? So I clicked on the link where, and I was looking at the dates, and it was on the Essence magazine website. What caught my attention first was that it said this article was updated on October 27th, 2020. 4.5 years ago, this article, and yet it is being run on these timelines at the front where all the news is as if it's a current thing. So then I said, when did this really happen? It happened in in 2014. 2014. So 11 years ago is when this article was first published, and then it got updated on the in 2020. Who's choosing these stories? Who's choosing these stories to feed that algorithm? Obviously, it must be an out of control algorithm, because if you have to go back 11 years to find a story that you can brag about, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. I have no clue. Now, I've noticed that this sort of thing happens when he talks about dead celebrities. I'm sitting there going, what? The headline says dead celebrity just died, or dead celebrity dead. Ah, fans grieve. You click on it and you find that nowhere does it mention the date of death. You can't pin the story date. In fact, sometimes there's not even a date on that story. And yet somebody's going for the clicks. Because that's how whatever gets clicked on, that's who's making the money. This was clickbait. This Essence story was used as clickbait. Now, I clicked on it because I'd never heard of this before. I thought it was really interesting. I wanted, if somebody did a good job, I wanted to say yay. But it was an 11-year-old story now showing up as if it just happened. A lot of people will be fooled by this, and that is wrong, big tech. Big tech and all you people, y'all need to start figuring this out, because we users of technology, the very ones that you're trying to, what's the word, engage with, we're unhappy. We're very unhappy. Now, the art of making your opinions known, is practiced around the world and has been practiced around the world for thousands of years. If there was a bar and alcohol, somebody was sitting around the bar and sharing their opinion. Solving the world's problems is what they did. And this is a time-honored pursuit. I know that. And you know what? The more you drink, the bigger and bolder your solutions get. But at the end of the evening, we all go home. We don't really care. We don't care how you feel about anything. We definitely don't remember it. I mean, how many times have you sat around a bar opining, well, if it was me, glug glug, I'd do burp burp. And the next night you come back and say the same thing again. And nobody remembers. Because opinions may be fun to state, but unless you can back them up with hard facts, if you can be questioned about it and have somebody say, instead of you make the opinion, somebody says, I don't like that. You make the opinion and someone says, really? Why? Now discussion. But drunk around a bar is not the place to ask questions, maybe. Not good. So we're not going to make those changes at the bar. Now, if you're on a radio show or a podcast, you're invited to, come and opine about something, and you claim to be an expert in whatever field it is that you're being talked to about, and you have an opinion about that field or something happening in that field, then you better make that opinion a thoughtful one. There's a lot of people that because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It's kind of snuck into our method of discussing things. When we give our opinion, we start the statement by saying, I think. Look, we know that's what you think because it's coming out of your mouth. So do you really have to say, I think? Or by I think, do you mean, listen, this is my opinion. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. If you have a different opinion, whatever. Do you or do you not believe what you're talking about? Have you or have you not come to that conclusion to reach that, so you can state that opinion based upon anything other than your feelings? Well, if your feelings is all you got, baby, I don't need you. I don't need anything you say. You have to tell me why. The world is hungering for real information. And that, Bruce, is what Douglas Murray was giving you. He was giving you real information that you weren't able to process. It's not his problem. And you can either go back and listen to what he said, make you some notes, look it up, see what it meant. Or you can just sit there and go, he's a mean, mean man. He's insufferable. Well, maybe he is insufferable, but it doesn't mean he's wrong. You understand? Okay. Let's see, where's my next? This part. And I wrote this down because I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to read it to you. These are my notes. This is where pundits and politicians have been playing fast and loose with the public. That is the citizenry. Drunk with power and over-imbibing in ego, they are no better than the Friday night people sitting at a bar and opining. If all you got, politician, is emotion, then I don't need you. Emotion doesn't cut it unless you're a Hallmark movie. If you're a Hallmark movie, emote all over the place. But if you're a politician or if you're a pundit who is giving their opinion, stop it with the I feel, I feel, I feel. Stop it with the I think. Just tell us what it is. Tell us your reasons for it. Be ready to defend them. Think ahead about what your listeners might be saying at the time that you say whatever words you say. What might they be wondering? Think ahead about what that might be and then answer it. Now, this isn't about opinion, but it is something that pundits and politicians and should remember. And it's that stop speaking the insider jargon. And yes, that's you, Hugh Hewitt. Yeah, it's you. And others who are so plugged into what's going on and they know everybody and they used to work for this president or they used to work for that Supreme Court justice, that they're all talking a shorthand that, frankly, I have to wonder what the hell did they just say, because they're using insider jargon. A lot of politicians do this and a lot of pundits do this. Look, the people listening to your show, we're just, we're the working stiffs. We're the ones that go to work. We're the ones that have a job. We're still raising kids, or we've got grandkids, or we're trying to keep a roof over our head, or whatever. But we're not plugged into that insider stuff. So, slow down. Help us to understand what these acronyms are that you're throwing out. Help us to understand who these people are that you're mentioning. Insider jokes are no fun for the listener. None. Insider knowledge that's hinted at. Look, if you're going to tease me, I don't need you. I don't want any man teasing me. I don't want a woman teasing me. I don't want anybody teasing me. Not when it comes to you're setting yourself up as an expert and you say you're there to help the little people. And yet all you do is talk over their heads, or often do. Now, that's not to say I don't enjoy listening to Hugh Hewitt and all these people. I do. But sometimes I just go, I can't take it anymore. And I turn it off because there's so much jargon. They're talking like everybody knows what they're talking about. And we don't. We absolutely do not. Now, there's the next thing. My editor, where did he write that? Oh, yeah. He sent me an email. He said, you need to talk about this. And I thought, well, okay, I will. He said, people want action. They don't want messaging from political strategists. Did you hear what he said? He said, people don't want messaging from political strategists. They're tired of hearing it. They're tired of seeing it. They're tired of the headlines full of political strategist says, blah, blah, blah. We don't care what a political strategist says. Why are y'all getting your information from them? What we want to see is action. Who was that? What was that? Was there a movie called Action Jackson or something like that? I don't know. I haven't seen all movies. I know you're shocked, but I haven't. So that brings me to the point of when Trump was running this last year, when he was starting to say to everybody, I'm going to be president, everywhere he went, the media said he just said the same old thing over and over and over again. The same old thing over and over and over again. He needs somebody who's going to help him to change that message up. No, Trump kept repeating the same litany of the wrong that had been done to him, the wrong that had been done to the American people. He had a plan to fix both, and he was going to do it. And starting day one, he was going to kick boo, honey. Now, you're asking, isn't that messaging, Angela? Didn't Trump have his messaging all yet? Yes, there's nothing wrong with messaging, but that was his messaging. And he told us stuff that we could use. You see, he validated what we already knew. And he validated it from an insider's point of view because, oh, that's right, it was happening to him. He had a front row seat to that debacle. The whole thing. And he kept repeating it. And he kept repeating it. Why? Well, surely we would have remembered it once he said it one time. Nope. The vast majority of people have a short memory, which is why most are not good at conversation or debates. They have a very short memory. Those two girls that won that championship, that was not debates that they did. That was not debates. That was putting on a show. Trump knew people had a short memory. They also needed everybody to know. He also needed to make sure that everybody knew that he was not changing his promise to them. And do you know that the media, oh my gosh, the media did everything in their power to try and have him walk anything back. Walk anything back. And he didn't. And the next time he had him a rally, boom. What was done wrong to me? who's doing it, who's doing wrong to you, why they're doing it, how I'm going to make it better. Guarantee. I promise. Boom. And on January 20th, wow, January 20th to February 20th is 1 month. March 20th, that's 2 months. He's been kicking butt and taking names. And that's okay. That is totally okay. Now, I am a citizen journalist. I've been one for, gosh, since 2015, 10 years now. Wow. Started writing blog posts for myself. Well, not for myself. For writing on the walls. It was they invited me to write for them, and I did. Then I was invited to write for another online publication that is slowly dying out. The guy that started it, it's sometimes it's times in the seasons it's over. But I wrote a lot of really good things for that and had a lot of people reading it. And then I started my own Substack. And I've been writing and writing and writing. And now I've added podcasting to my Substack. And I'm putting these over to YouTube also. But my role as a citizen journalist is not to parrot prevailing wisdom. My job as a citizen journalist is to question, is to ask the why, is to confirm things. And if I can't find something about it, especially now, it's very important to do that. It's very important. AI, artificial intelligence, is being weaponized by some really bad actors, And they can spew this stuff out, just spew it out in massive, non-stop chunks so that it puts the voices like mine low on the totem pole because these others are sent out in such a way that everybody wants to click on them. Clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. And the algorithm goes, woo! This is awesome. And yet it's just AI. They don't care about making money from that. What they care about is silencing the voices of those who are asking why and who are doing the research and who are trying to figure it out. And that's what's happening. So that's why I say, look, I got this thing running at the bottom of my screen. Thank you for liking and sharing. Algorithms pay attention to that. I would love to know your thoughts, so comment. I really mean it. Be sure to subscribe. Hello. You can subscribe for free, or you can throw a few bucks my way if you are liking the work that I'm doing. So I think that's oh, I did have one other note. Actually two. You remember back when I caught on to this real quick, when Obama was running for president the first time, he said his goal was to fundamentally change the United States. And when he said fundamentally changed, my little spidey senses went ding, 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 ding. He's a commie. More like a Marxist, which includes all sorts of commies and social justice warriors and Democrats and rhinos. But he came really close to fundamentally changing it for the worst. And some people are still trying to do that. You got people still marching around. You know, what was that thing that they just marched around, hands off? Most of them had to be paid to show up. Oh, well. And then we've got somebody now, a group here in Georgia, some sort of a caring, very caring, very caring group wants the Braves to change their name to, I think is what they want to change it to, is Bravest. And yet Indians like teams named after their culture. But according to this group, some sort of a Georgia group, I wish I knew what it was. I cannot remember what it was, but it made the news. And I've got something written here that I can't read anymore. um, Also, let me say that there are a lot of people who are complaining about the illegal aliens being sent out of the country. And their reason for it is because if all their little slaves left, the ones who work for pennies on the dollar, then who's gonna change their tires? And who's gonna clear the tables at the restaurants? And who's gonna pick the avocados that they so desperately need for their guacamole? And oh, these people have, they don't even know that they're acting in that way, because you see, they themselves are racist. They themselves want a subpar group of people to wait on them to leave so that they can have the good lifestyle that they're used to. Ooh, yes. Come on. You know, you can almost hear them saying, come on, boy, change that tire. Only they'd say it in Spanish, or they'd use their little app on their phone to say it. This is very unpleasant. And the reason is because, barring very few things in this world that people do to earn money, all work is honorable. All work is honorable. There are no jobs where if you do that job, you are a subpar human. You're the lowest of the low. There are none. And I would like any one of you listening to this, to name one job that whoever does it is less of a human than you. Just one. I don't think you can do it. Mike Rowe himself knows dirty jobs, they pay pretty well, don't they? Dirty jobs. But these people who don't want the illegal aliens to leave the country, they're getting paid slave wages, less than slave wages. That is wrong. That is called using and abusing. And you Democrats and you social justice warriors out there who are going, oh, our avocados. If that is the best answer you've got to why people should not break the law by coming into a country illegally, by the way, no other country is really working, allowing that, and those that had are now stopping, then you know what? You don't have much of a darn argument at all. And I have no use for you either. And as do most people. I'm not alone in this. We know that you're a racist group who believes that you're the cream of the crop, that should be, your lifestyle should be supported by people subsisting. That's bad. That is bad, and that is wrong, and I don't like it. I ain't gonna put up with it. Okay, you guys, well, that is the end of this show today. I've got some other things coming up. I just did an interview today of, well, today as in Monday the 14th. It'll be coming out on the 17th of this week. This is April 2025. Ann Moore Bailey, the artist, she and I are um, talking about how to start a podcast, why to start one. It was a great conversation, kind of roamed around things, but it talked about how one needs to do that. So be sure and catch that. Um, it'll be both on YouTube and Substack, though it comes out on Substack first. The next day it'll be out on YouTube. And then let's see, what days? Hang on one second. Let me look at my calendar. On Friday the 25th, Susan Daniels and I will be recording our next episode, and I'll let y'all know when that's going to be coming out too. It's going to be fun. Susan's fun to talk to. You know what they say about old men and old women? What you going to do to them if they tell you the truth? They can say whatever they want. They've got the experience to back it up. So you got to mind your manners with Miss Susan. Well, anyway, we're looking forward to it. So thank y'all so very much for tuning in. I sure do appreciate it. And be sure to like, subscribe, share, and that sort of thing. And comment too. Be sure to comment. And, well, we're going to end it right now. Oh, it's my book of poems. We got more of those coming too. Bye.
She treats you right.